Hello One Church, Simon Jarvis here. From my home to your home, from my church to your church, I'm here to encourage you to live big in lockdown. I want to encourage you with this thought that we can have an indefatigable spirit. Indefatigable, have you heard of that word before? I certainly had never heard of that word before until I read an article from a journalist that was relating to a tennis match back in 2010. And the tennis match was held at Wimbledon, and we watch Wimbledon religiously every year. Ever since my dad, who was a big tennis fan, encouraged us to do so, we've always got Wimbledon on in the background. But this description, indefatigable, was given particular to one match. It was a match between two players, John Inzer from America and Nicolas Mahut from France. And the reason why it was given is because it was the longest match ever recorded then and still today, the longest match ever in the world. The game was spread over 3 days and it lasted an incredible 11 hours and 5 minutes. They broke 10 records in the game, including the longest match, the longest set, the most aces, and ironically, the loser, Mahut, scored more points, 502, than the eventual winner, Inzer, who scored 478. The journalist described the game described the players as indefatigable. And I had to look at the dictionary. What does indefatigable mean? And it means a person persisting tirelessly. I found that inspiring. I want to be a person who's indefatigable, a person persisting tirelessly. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10, it says this: "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armour of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, and against powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armour of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you've done everything, to stand." The Bible tells us that when we're facing a battle, when we're facing a struggle, when we're facing adversity, that we need to stand. And when we've done everything, to stand. Sometimes you think, I can't even fight. Well, stand. Just stand your ground. Don't give any ground. Don't give any quarter. Stand. It takes an indefatigable spirit to take your stand, to face adversity and to stand your ground. Sometimes there's no fight left in us. Well, stand your ground. Don't give any ground at all. In 2 Samuel 23, we hear an account about a man called Shammah. And it says that the Philistines banded together where there was a field full of lentils. And though all the people ran away from him, his army ran away, Shammah stood in that field of lentils, and it says this: Shammah took his stand in the middle of the field, he defended it and struck the Philistines down, and the Lord brought about a great victory. Oh, come on, Shammah. It's just a field of lentils. It's not that important. We can go to Morrison's and buy some more. No, says Shammah, I have a conviction that I am meant to stand. Sometimes it comes to a point of principle where, despite popular opinion or even common sense, you have to take a stand and you have to hold your ground. For us as Christians, this is our ultimate test of faith. We have always declared that we don't live by our feelings, but we live by faith. And the world is literally watching us right now. The world is turning to prayer like never before, turning to faith like never before. And it's certainly something I've never seen in my lifetime. It's time for us to stand strong. Do you know what? I'm not giving ground to fear and worry and doubt. Sure, they're real things, but that they don't need to be the boss of my life. And I'm not giving ground to bad news, issues beyond my control, weariness or depression. I am making my stand. I am indefatigable.